Okay, so actually, hold on, wasn't Aaron's character the one that was badly injured by falling off all the pallets?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. We've got a convenient excuse for Aaron's character's lack of presence in this session. They're recovering from being slammed. That's right, from being swung around and slammed into the side of a ship while hanging on desperately onto a pallet. Not that I'm pointing at anyone.
I can't point.
Raffi. If I remember correctly, was it you, Raffi? Was it your character?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It may have been.
It,
It may have been.
some rumors may append my name. Okay, so but where we had left it is I think Kit and Aggie had made their way either by just tromping up the stairs that then fell apart under their feet, or by being super dexterous and bouncing up the poles, I think, that were left sticking off the side of the ship. Epic, of course, how every fool should travel.
On the wings of fate.
On the wings of fate, to the top of the ship. And what you had seen when you made it to the top of the ship, most importantly, was a whole bunch of statues. Now, Kit, you had mistaken there had been a picture, of, you'd seen an image of what looked like your brother's silhouette on the top of the ship, which is what had invoked you to go up there. When you've gotten up there, that is not what you see, but what you do see is a whole bunch of statues of people, or at least they appear to be statues, and they're all holding what look like papers in one hand, and sort of desperately showing these things upwards. What would you like to do now that you're at the top of the stairs?
Lots of statues, all holding papers,
Yeah.
all looking towards one direction.
No. But they are they're all looking upwards. They're all like holding the papers above their heads and sort of looking upwards, but they're not all looking in the same direction from a northwest, east, south kind of story.
Okay, so looking up, which would be a bad idea, but would be the first impulse, is probably not going to see what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Probably just start moving through them to see if there's any other indication of what is going on.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and look at the papers. There's like any visible writing or markings on the stone paper.
So you're moving between the statues and examining the papers directly.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can't. Well, I'll tell you what. Make a what stat do you think this could be, Aggie?
Okay. What am I looking
I'm
at?
feeling intelligence. I'm not gonna lie. But...
Yeah. Feel like I'm looking at the wrong part of my sheet. My persona. Default. Here we go. Sorry. This has got my scores on it. Yeah, intelligence seems fine to me.
Okay. Now, something for you guys to be aware of. It's not a rule we used last time, but just for your awareness, once per session you can invoke a real-world flashback. So this is a moment where you can kind of flash back to something that happened in your real-world life. Needless to say, I will take account of what you use as your real-world flashback and potentially use it against you in the future. However, the point of this is it can give you advantage in a roll. So you can get a bonus die if you use a real-world flashback. This may not be that moment, but to note, there is that possibility. All right. So make an intelligence check for me, plus.
I got a 2 and a 6.
Okay. So the target number
What's
is
the success?
4 and above.
4.
4
So I got
successes.
one-
And a
one
6
success.
can be a special, which can give you sort of additional bonuses if
Right.
warranted. All right, but you're just looking at these papers. So
Yeah.
they seem to be like passports, maybe, or passport-like. So they're kind of, they're stamped with some sort of official stamp. It's all in French. You don't speak French. You don't read French. Although you are getting when you look at them out of on the corner of your eye, you're getting a little flashing like light, like a little blinking light when you're looking at the French words.
All right.
Um,
I'm gonna reach up and try and tap
the light.
where the light is, or
Yep.
I don't know. Just
Works
like move my
perfectly
hand
well.
near it.
So then out pops a little dialogue box in your vision, not out, that basically has, country of origin, Morocco, visa to travel to the UK under the permission of, Inspector da of the Vichy French regime, in effect. Now, unfortunately, said Vichy French regime operator was recently gutted by a Nazi colonel, but there is definitely that sense of it.
Okay. So these people were trying to leave, go to the UK, and they've got documentation to allow them to leave.
Yeah.
Right. And now they've turned to stone. Lovely.
And now they've turned to stone.
Can I look around for anyone other than us not turned to stone?
You sure can. Make a. I think it'll be an intelligence roll as well. That seems logical to me.
Five and a 1.
Okay. So you can see, now that you're looking around more carefully, you can see little red blinking lights. Sort of. So I don't know if you recall, but this is not actually like a cruise liner. This is like a sort of. It's actually a freight ship, right? So this kind of deck you're on has a big sort of opening in the middle of it, and a big crane that obviously lifts, shipping containers and other things into the hold. And so there's this kind of gantry running around the outside of this thing that kind of, particularly from anyway, I'm not very good at ships, but the sort of front end and the back end of the ship, and port and starboard I know. What's the front bit and the back bit called? Forecastle and bow and stern. Right, thank you. Bow and stern, port and starboard. There's kind of this gantry running around it, and you can see these blinking little red lights, and they seem to be distributed pretty evenly around the gantry. Now, while you take that in, Raffi, you have swung the crane just for the sake of narrative expediency. You have swung the crane so that you can just move across the crane onto the ship.
Okay. Yep, that's fair.
Just to make it narratively expedient for you to be there.
In a blind panic, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Having smashed your mate and mine, the dictator, into the ship. They're on the ground. They're crawling their way back up the thing and are coming along. Okay.
I sort of got him on the ship.
You sort of...
On the side of the ship? Rather
Yeah,
than the
side,
deck.
not on. But so close yet so far. I mean, it was a matter of feet, or meters, as it were. Now, so you're sort of scrambling along the arm, just so that's clear. So you'll arrive quite soon, for expediency's sake. Okay, so Kit, you have identified these things, or should I say, whatever your Paragon's name is. But Kit, you've got that under control. There's these blinking lights.
Go and look at what the hell the blinking lights are.
Okay, as you approach closer to them, they draw away from you. So the light recedes behind you. Very nice. Well done, Aggie. Nice background.
I thought, yeah,
Need a bit of that
better
action.
update my picture.
I'm currently got my Yellow King background on, actually. Because I'm running Tatters of the King, the Call of Cthulhu Yellow King module for the other group. So it draws away, and what you can see is the lights are kind of pulling towards one corner, like retracting away towards one corner.
Well, I know that the guy who took over the game design isn't that imaginative, so if there's lights that are going, follow me, I gotta sigh and follow them.
Okay.
Take that obvious clue.
Take that obvious clue. Alright, so when you get closer to it, what you realise is they're all cameras. Kind of old school security cameras. So you know that kind of classic 1980s kind of brown or white box camera hanging from the thing with the little flashing red light right next to the lens indicating that it's on?
Completely anachronistic for whatever the hell he was going for.
Yeah, so not at all in tune for the 1930s kind of 1940s vibe that you were looking for. But yeah, so those cameras have drawn away together, and they're all attached to these long kind of metal cables. And they're drawing into this central place. And what you can see in that central place is a kind of misshapen form, like it's a shadowy kind of misshapen form. But it's now, as the cameras draw back and you're following them in, it is now stepping forward towards you.
That seems like a very bad idea.
Okay. So you are completely allowed to know what this is. Like, you do not have to be... Don't have to act dumb. You're completely allowed, because this is Trope Universe 101 shit.
Yeah, it's like we've got stone, we've got cables, we've got snake-looking things. Nope. I'm gonna nope the hell out of there.
Okay, so you're backpedaling at this point. Like, you're going away. So Rafi, you've landed on the deck by this point. And Aggie, you can see Kit is now retracing their steps with some degree of alacrity towards you.
She's wearing a ton more armor than me.
They've got a ton more armor than you.
I will be backing away. Like, are we leaving? We're leaving, right? We're leaving. Okay.
Okay, so it doesn't actually come out of the shadows. Kind of stays in the shadows a bit. So there's a misshapen kind of humanist form. There's these big, writhing kind of tentacle things kind of hanging around the top of it, but they're all in shadow. And so what you can see most clearly is these little red blinking lights, like moving kind of in abstract patterns. It's like watching fireflies move through the night sky, right? They're just these little blinking lights flicking on and off and kind of twisting through space. You guys have backpedaled, but I assume you haven't left the ship, like you're on the ship.
No, it's like something shiny, something shiny, something shiny. Find a mirror, something shiny.
You're
Find a
pretty
mirror.
shiny. Maybe we'll turn you around and like use you as the mirror. Like don't face it. Or just check the reflection in your armor, your shiny armor.
Shiny armor. The hammer, needless to say, Kit, is like whispering, we should hide behind them. Like, like if one of them goes first, that would be better.
Shh.
But it's true, right? Like, I mean,
It's true. But
it's true, right? Like, we don't want to get hurt, so maybe we should let them be hurt. Now,
turn around and pretend we don't see it.
yes, that's exactly says the hammer. That's a good idea. Why don't we do that? That's a good idea. So, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so this hollow kind of mechanical voice comes echoing out of the shadow. It's got a reverb to it that's really quite pronounced. So there's this kind of background reverb of the voice, like it's coming from multiple, just slightly out of sync speakers. And it's, yeah, and so it goes, where are your papers?
We've just left them behind.
You are not allowed to pass without papers.
Okay. What papers do you want?
Where do we find these papers?
The papers. You need the papers.
What's with the Enya voice?
The
Sorry.
It's like, wow, really, that
Sorry.
hurts. That hurts me right deep down inside. Orinoco Flow, here we come. Okay, you need to give me the papers. The papers are what you need to give me. You should have the papers. To get here, you will have gone and gotten the papers.
Right, the papers.
Where do we get the papers from?
I don't know. You get the papers. You get them before you come here.
What do the papers
I
look
think
like?
we skipped part of the adventure.
You did not complete the first part of the investigation.
Nope, I guess we didn't. Missed that bit.
This is pretty
Then how will you
amazing.
solve the investigation?
No. Well, we're investigating something else.
There is nothing else to investigate. There is only one investigation.
Okay. What we, because we're, because we want to find out where the creative director has gone, and he went out. Was it west?
Yes.
So these people are stone and holding
Papers.
stone papers.
Yeah.
How attached are they to their stone papers?
You want to break one off?
Yeah, break an arm off
Yeah.
if needs be. It's a computer game.
Sure. It's a good attitude. So
I have a hammer.
you do have a hammer. This is very true. Okay, so can you describe the statue that you're breaking the hand off of, please?
It's a well-dressed man in a kind of very crisp 1930s, 1940s suit, hat, briefcase at his feet, kind of a look of alarm on his face. Just gonna knock his arm off and take his papers.
Okay.
You don't need this now.
He's stone. He's a computer game.
Yeah. So when you smash the arm off, which you can just do, that's fine. Like, it is grey, but it's not stone. You realise it's like frozen flesh or something. Like, it's not stone. So you smash it off, and it's like hitting, you know, those kind of tropey sort of nitro. People who've been put in. What is it when you freeze someone?
Cryogenics.
Liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So it's like, you know, all those tropes about liquid nitrogen, and they're kind of crystalline when they smash. So it's like that. So the arm comes off. It's kind of shattered a bit. It's jagged edged, and bits of the arm fall onto the ground and shatter. But yep, you can break the papers off.
These papers?
Okay, so one of the cameras kind of snakes its way out of the shadows and kind of rears up, and you hear this kind of clicking, whirring sound from the camera for a second, and then there's this sort of process, you know, there's this kind of rattling process sound coming from the thing, and the thing goes, "Not your papers." And wrong papers anyway. There is you are not quite right. You are not a player.
A player of what?
You are not a player.
Of the video game?
You are more than a player?
Yeah.
Alpha testers. We're alpha testers.
Great.
Yep. We've got special access.
Will you proceed without completing the investigation?
Maybe.
Will you open the way?
That.
Testing quest options. Different way to get and through the quest without completing the investigation.
But
Yeah.
I'd like to see if it's possible.
Yeah. That's
There-
Looking
good.
for bugs.
what will you... How will you... And it seems to genuinely be pausing as it talks. How will you do this thing that you want to do?
Can our coder code another?
Now, I will point out, I will just remind you, real world flashbacks can be used to give you an advantage on things.
Yeah.
And you are you're a game design group. You've had bugs before.
Well, we can always come back and fix this. I mean, well, we just have to set a binary flag that says, port quest complete or something like that to true. And in theory, we should be able to proceed through the game.
So, Rafi. So, when did you last do something like this in your real life? Like, when did it last happen? When did you last do it?
Given that it's fairly early on in the game,
Yeah.
I suppose it was before all the problems with immigration,
Yep.
when we were just sort of trying to get scenes chaining from one to the other and then backfilling all the content of the scenes. So it would have been right at the beginning, going, well, okay, we'll display the scene, and then, okay, how do I get it to proceed automatically to the next scene? So it would have been really early in the logic of constructing the logic of the game.
So the creative director would have been pretty intensely involved at that point. Like, this is before you all worked out what a ditz they were, right? Like, before you worked out all their bad behaviours. Is this right back when you were all sort of actually pumping for this kind of idea? Like, you were willing to work the hours, this was going to be the real deal?
Yeah. But again, it would have been right at the beginning.
Yeah.
When we were like putting the framework together to build the scenes onto.
Okay. So, you do have a memory of, kind of hard coding these scenario pass-throughs, right? So, to your exact point, sort of writing a bit of code that literally just says, when I get to this point, just take me to the next one. Like, don't worry about all the condition that I have to have passed, just put me to the next scene so I can see the next scene, presents and it performs and do all those sorts of things. So, can I have a wisdom roll, maybe, but with advantage? Oh, you're the Godbinder. You should be good at this.
Is it advantage is just an extra die?
Yep, advantage is an extra die. That is correcto mundo. Por favor.
So it's been a couple of weeks.
No,
That's
understood.
2 successes.
2 successes. Any of them are 6?
2 of them.
Right. Okay. So you can take them as specials. Now, do you have any? So you can. You think you can hard code past this, but you'll be locking it open, right? Like, the way the hard coding works is, if you get to this point, you just go straight through.
Yep.
Right. That's the implication of the hard coding. There'll be no conditionality. You'll be literally saying, "Don't worry about that. Just if a person's standing here, they can transition to the next scene."
Yep.
Okay. Sorry. You might be.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it'll be really helpful for our Q&A guy who is currently still trying to get up here, as the way's already open for it.
Okay. So, I mean, what mechanism do you use in the fantasy world to enact this outcome? Like, you know what to do at the code layer, but you're not typing on a keyboard. You're dealing with this thing in the shadows.
I guess, sort of in the spirit of the time period, there's probably on one of the walls of the superstructure on the ship, there's a knife switch.
Yep.
It's just a matter of pulling the knife switch
Pulling
down.
the knife switch down.
And a light, like a red light, comes on.
Yep. Okay. So you basically reach around behind this location that no one else even knew was there, and in effect pull the switch down. Okay. All right. The Gorgon goes spasms for a second, like all of the sort of lights flicker and change, and the arms, these cameras on the tentacles kind of spin out, but then they all start blinking green. Right, so they all start blinking green, and the Gorgon's voice now kind of slightly different, not so reverby, way more quiet, maybe. So it's like a breeze now. It sounds like a breeze kind of coming out of it, as opposed to this kind of quite mechanical sound you were getting before.
You need to do more audio sampling, guys. Just saying.
Way more. There is no guardian on the way. The gate is open. I will see you at the next gate.
Hey.
Looking forward to it.
And you see all of the cameras kind of they stay there. They're all green. But they're no longer... They're moving, but they're moving... so previously they were moving quite what looked like random movement. Like things were moving around and adjusting to your movement. Now they just seem to be almost doing a figure eight pattern kind of thing. Like, so they're almost just on autopilot now. Like there's no sense of attention in the cameras. There's no sense of awareness behind them. They're just moving green flashing lights in these regular patterns. As you do this, you hear the ship start to move away from the dock.
Oh.
Now, we'll assume that the dictator has dragged himself kicking and screaming into the centre of the food rat. So he's up here with you, obviously feeling more than a little bit worse for wear, but he is up here with you now.
Okay, good.
So there is a sense of movement from the ship, and then not too long after that, well, it feels very, very fast. Okay. So you go into darkness, like, so the ship travels into darkness. There's a sense of change, and that change is presaged by smell. So when you were leaving the dock, you had that kind, like, you obviously could smell diesel, and you could hear the noise of ships, but you could also hear and smell the desert, right? There was a sharp, dry wind kind of blowing across the dock. It was sweaty, it was hot, it was muggy, it was all of those sorts of things. I'm explicitly remembering getting off the airplane at Qatar at 1 a.m. in the morning and thinking, Christ, how do you survive here? So it's that sort of mugginess and sweat and thing. What you now can smell, and there was just this sharp moment of transition, what you can now smell is people and smoke and industry and smog. It feels cold, like you've gone literally from this warm, sweaty, wet space to this cold, wet space. It should be noted, it feels misty and cold. And you can hear horns of ships and horns of other things, smaller boats and other things moving past you in the darkness. As you sort of transition into this smell and this sound, now a low kind of dull light kind of starts to brighten up the space, and you realise that you're on what appears to be a river. So you're not on the Mediterranean. Like, at least one of you knows that Casablanca is on the Mediterranean. I'm going to give it to one of you, right? So, one of you knows, well, you know that when you sailed out, you were heading into what looked pretty much like a sea or an ocean.
Yeah.
Literally minutes later, you're sailing up a river.
Into the port of London, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring, since that's where the ship was destined for.
And cold and wet and stinky, it's London all over.
I guess not having experience of the real London, Rafi will be looking around for bats.
It's very
The
wise.
closest you will have come is fallen London.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
London.
Oh.
Is that like from Fallout or something? Is that...
No. I
There's
shall have to introduce you to it, Thomas. It's a whole gothic.
It's so
design.
good.
Wonderful, so good. Free Braille for game called Fallen London.
And they've done a couple of spin-offs,
Oh yeah.
like PC games as well.
Yeah,
the
the
Sun will
Sun
see
will
in
Which
the
see.
I've got
skies.
both of them. Yeah.
All right, well
Anyway,
then, yes,
digress.
you can. Raffi can be holding his fallen London motif in his mind and his heart. So, you're sailing up this river towards what appear to be docks. The city is thronging with people. There's no one steering the ship, but the ship seems to know where to go. Like, you seem to be passengers on the ship. Like, very reminiscent of all of the long distance transport things that you encounter in various games, you know, where you get on the Griffin in World of Warcraft and it just, I want to go here, and there's all this amazing video of you flying the Griffin, but the Griffin just goes where it goes. You don't actually steer the Griffin. Well, it's the same with the ship. You don't actually steer the ship. So there is a moment, and then the ship disembarks. I'm loving the shadowy hand, by the way. Pouring water and everything. It's very thing-like. I respect
He
that.
just poured me a drink, so.
I did.
Oh, yeah, the vodka.
Quick, vodka. Well, you have got 7 business days of leave, so, you know. Got to hit it sometime. So, what do you want to do? The ship pulls up at the port of, yes, you are correct, the port of London. It's smoggy, it's kind of dark and dank, but not actually dark, it's just very low light. There's lots of people waiting at the bottom of the ship, and by the way, it now has stairs again.
Of course.
Is a somewhat portly gentleman. Let me put him up for you. This guy. There's this gentleman at the bottom of the ship, like at where it's pulled up, and he's looking up at you with quite expectant eyes.
Okay.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Oh, is that the creative director again?
No,
No.
this does not appear to be the creative director. They have a distinctly English accent, and they literally have a handlebar mustache. They're probably in their 50s. They appear to have a cane in one hand. And yeah, they're dressed in tweed, as you'd expect.
Nice. Very nice.
You haven't happened to have seen a strange-looking hooded fellow with a metal hand pass through, have you?
No, I have not. I apologise, but I am aware that you have arrived with an intent to help solve the case.
Yeah.
The case of the missing guy with the metal hand, yes.
Oh, is that the case? I didn't think that was the case. That is interesting.
What is the case that you think we're investigating?
Well, Of course, it is the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah, the Scarlet Letter. Yep, that's right. The Scarlet Letter. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Nigel's my name, by the way.
Very nice to meet you,
Well,
Nigel.
I mean, my actual name is William, but I do prefer the name Nigel. It's my parents' final gift to me. A decent middle name.
Okay, Nigel.
Yes,
Really
Nigel.
making plans.
Well, look, I don't know quite why you're not coming down, but can I suggest, as my friend Basil would say, the game is afoot.
Basil Brush?
That's all faulty.
No. You would know him as Mr. Rathbone.
I was going to say that was my next guess. Of course, we shall be down momentarily.
Excellent.
Alright, so getting off this ship down the
Kit's
stairs.
just gonna
Hopefully
turn
he's
around.
not gonna like collapse on us this time.
Kit is just going to turn around first and go,
Art thou... What are you... shall I get a cab?
Yes. That's
Yes,
good.
please.
And do you have luggage?
No, we travel
No.
light.
Oh. Right. Interesting.
Just us in this graveyard of social realist statuary.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And when you get off the ship and are standing on the dock, when you turn around, the ship is not there anymore.
Of course it's not. Well, we've moved through the gate to the next scene, London. Yeah.
Yes, you have. You must be effective investigators.
Yeah.
It's a good word,
We
yes.
sure are. Very effective.
Excellent, excellent. Well, look, well, do come with me. I'm very keen to make your acquaintance, and Basil will be very keen to meet you.
Good.
He's quite perplexed by this one.
as
We're in
This
good company.
case of the Scarlet Letter. Oh my god, what is this? This is all before my time, like, trying to remember, like, what notes were left about all this.
Notes.
No, I'm not, no, you don't worry about this. I'm just
Oh.
talking to my friends right now.
Oh, okay.
notes on the case. We had the previous investigators, of course, left notes, and we're trying to recall.
Excellent, excellent. Well, look, come with me, jump in the cab, all that, and off we go.
Okay.
Alright, so you jump in a classic kind of black cab. Slightly boxier construction than the ones that are most famous now, but similar design. And drive off into the murky, foggy morning, evening. It's not clear, it's just foggy and liminal light. You find yourselves pulling up in front of 221B Baker Street. And he gestures you in immediately. This is quite an important case. You understand that. I should ask. What experience do you have? Are you American? I mean, I gather from the accents, perhaps American. It's not quite clear.
Yeah.
You are? No.
We're from the colonies.
Oh! New Zealanders.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know Basil himself is from the colonies.
Oh yes, he's from South Africa. That's right.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, do come up. Anyway, Nigel's, as I think I said, was my name. We're a little perplexed about a few things.
Okay.
As are we all.
All right, so he closes the. So he gestures for you to go up the stairs. Oops, sorry, better use it. This woman is also moving around, but she seems much less animate than Nigel, who seems quite engaged with you. She's like, "Oh dear," you know. She's very much, "Oh dear, more guests for the good gentleman upstairs. I see there,
This
Mr.
must be
Watson."
This must be Mrs. Hudson. Pleasure.
It is Mrs. Hudson. She insists on calling me Watson, though.
Understandable. You look like a Watson.
Well, I mean, I was a Watson,
Ah,
but I'm not a Watson.
You're a Nigel.
I am a Nigel. Anyway, do come upstairs. We probably need to talk.
Yep.
So, when you come up the stairs, there are two gentlemen in the room, and gentleman is the right term. They look very English gentleman-y. Upper middle class kind of clothing. One you recognise immediately, because you all know this man. Dun, dun, dun. Basil Rathbone, most famous for his many years of service in the impersonation of Sherlock Holmes. And this gentleman, who is not, unless you do recognise the picture, and you may, but for most of you, this is a face you do not recognise.
No.
Although Aggie, well, actually, you can make a roll, Aggie.
Okay. What am I rolling?
He's close enough to your fan favourite to maybe have crossed your path.
So, intelligence again.
Yes, please.
2 4s.
Okay. So he does look familiar. You think this could be Arthur Conan Doyle?
Really?
Okay. So, right, says Nigel. So we should probably chat for a second.
Yeah.
So, I'm Nigel. This is Basil. And this is Arthur.
Okay. Wow.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Timothy.
Hello, Timothy. Also from the colonies, I gather.
Yes,
Right.
that is correct.
And also maybe not from here. Asked with a particular emphasis on the word here.
no, not from here at all.
We're from outside.
A bit displaced.
Right. Well, We are here because So, you know when you play a part for a really long time,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes maybe you have dreams about that part or being that part. So Arthur doesn't say much. We found him on the street, but he seems to be here and we're here. But what I think everyone else thinks is that I'm Watson and he's Sherlock Holmes. And he points to Basil.
Yep.
We see how they could come to that conclusion.
Well, I mean, yes, we've played the parts. But yes.
Their accents aren't in any way Italian, are they?
No, their accents are not Italian, but I like where you're going. I do have Italians in the list of monsters, though, just so you know.
Okay.
Just to reassure you.
Watch out for them.
I was just thinking if there were players that somehow got trapped in those roles, who would they likely be? And because Italy was the only place that
the game took off.
Really took off.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, what?
I'm not going to pull like a bad Mario accent, but yeah, I can imagine this unfolding with a.
You're not going to pull a Chris Pratt, is that what you're saying? So, no. We think we're dead. But we think we're here?
Ah.
And Arthur doesn't say much. And he looks at Arthur again. Arthur's just been sitting there and he's literally said nothing the whole time.
So this is some sort of purgatory?
Yes. Maybe?
Does feel somewhat like that.
Where are
What
you?
makes you think you're dead?
Sorry?
What makes you think you may be dead?
Well, I was quite old. Older than this.
Okay.
How could you have programmed a game to contain memories of
Actual
the actors who played particular roles?
Sorry, miss, you'll have to explain programmed a game.
Don't worry about what I'm talking about. Just talking to my friend.
Okay.
I'll let you know if I come to any good conclusions that will matter to you. I mean, what are our other options? Either he's raising the spirits of the dead somehow, or like so much information has been loaded into the game about real people. They could have like these kind of memory.
That mean we really met Bogart?
Oh, that would be weird.
It might not be Bogart. It might just be that somebody scraped Wikipedia references.
But would that be enough for someone to have
A full personality.
melody? So Nigel, tell me about yourself. Like, what do you remember about growing up?
Well, went to school, studied, fought in the First War, joined Basil on the radio play, then we got the, then we got the opportunity to play the parts, and then kind of got sick and wasn't going so well. That's the last thing I kind of remember.
Any distinct memories that wouldn't be, say, public knowledge?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, yes, but not to be shared.
Like, do you have like a memory of your mother that you maybe have never shared publicly, but would still be kind of like okay to tell us?
Well, she was a cold and distant woman. I mean, I have distinct memories of that. I mean, not particularly friendly or loving. I mean, as you'd expect. Yes. Uh, mm, I mean, yes, I guess. I mean, she once offered to serve me tapioca pudding, and I rejected it, and I was sent to my room because I didn't want to eat tapioca pudding. I mean, there's quite distinct memories of my particular dislike of tapioca pudding. By the way, sorry to all those people who are fans of William Nigel Bruce. I have no idea whether he liked tapioca pudding. Yes, so tapioca pudding, not my favourite thing. Basil and I were firm friends. We worked together. I mean, Basil pretty much told MGM when we came across that if they didn't take both of us, he wasn't coming.
Well,
I've never agreed with the modernisation of Sherlock Holmes, like when they made us fight Nazis in the 40s. Like, I mean, fighting Nazis made sense, but fighting Nazis as Sherlock Holmes did not. Just saying. Apparently the movies did very well. Sorry?
Did you ever meet the lion?
The lion. Oh, as in the MGM lion. Yes. Well, sort of. Yes, I guess. I think it was dead by the time I met it. But yes, I was only in MGM in the 40s, so. But yes, I mean, with the lion. That's what you're referring to.
well, you seem to be complete and not a construct.
Oh, a construct, like an automaton.
Something like that.
Gears and wind up voices and things.
Similar. Similar.
Ask him about the tortoise.
Tortoise?
The tortoise in the desert.
You see
Why
it
isn't he helping it?
You see it sort of in the desert. You're not helping it. Why aren't you helping? Blade Runner. As far as, unless one of you wants to do something particular, and don't forget, you do have special abilities here. Like, you have the knight, you are the knight of emotions.
Yeah.
And you do have,
Yeah, but I just be making them anxious.
gods to draw upon.
I don't think they need a kind of bash of extra anxiety. He seems kind of
Anxious
stressed enough.
There was sorry, you mentioned a mystery of the Scarlet Letter.
Well, yeah, well, I mean,
Can you lay out the facts of the case for us, please?
A man has been found dead. A letter with 4 names struck out. Look, you know the case. We know who did it. I mean, it's obvious.
We do?
Yes,
Well,
I mean, it's not this. It's not. Look, I
That's
was shorthanding. It's called A Study in Scarlet.
Yeah, that's what threw me. I do remember reading that.
Well, when I first arrived here, all I could think of was the Scarlet Letter.
I don't know. I don't remember the original story. Cumberpatch's version's taken over.
So, we need to find the man who is forcing the other people to take the pill. And the reason he's forcing them to take the pill is they're awful people.
Right.
This is a bad thing?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, is it a bad thing? No, it's a case. We solve cases.
Does he have a metal hand?
No. He's the ex-cowboy from Utah.
Right.
You know, he comes across chasing down the men who caused his beloved to die because they forced her into a marriage, and then he tracks them down. There's two of them. One of them's a secretary to the other one. He forces the first one, captures him and forces him to choose between the two pills, and then the second one, there's a fight, there's a tussle, there's a bit of a knife work, and then he forces him to take the pill, and then he admits his crime. Like, I know what happens. I did the movie.
Yeah, but we watched Benedict Cumberbatch do a study in Pinkston, and it's just... It was a taxi driver, and I don't think it was in... Yeah.
A
Sorry.
study in pink and a taxi driver? And Cumberbatch?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that like a piece of clothing that you're all wearing now?
Yeah, something like that.
But I mean, the whole point of the story is the villain is not actually a villain.
Yeah.
He's striking down bad people. Anyway, we know the story. We just need to find the guy and then we'll solve the mystery.
Right.
Yep.
But we're not very good at actually doing investigations.
Okay, so...
Because I'm William Nigel Bruce, not Dr. Watson. And he's Basil Rathbone, not Sherlock Holmes.
You're good at being actors. You're not good at being investigators.
I do believe the somewhat young woman has got it.
We're
Right.
good at
Ouch.
being game designers. We're not good at following.
But I am good at murder mysteries. Because I've read so many of them.
Okay, would you like to do a real-world flashback?
Yes.
Because there's an obvious one that you could call upon right now. There was that one time where you didn't read an Agatha Christie story. You hussy, and you you lowered yourself to an Arthur Conan Doyle story.
Yeah. That's true.
She was supposed to read the Agatha Christie novel and then disappeared for 11 days and no one knows where she went.
That's exactly right. And it was a dark time, and she read all 3 sets of Arthur Conan Doyle stories.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a intelligence roll, and while you do that, I'm just going to go for a drink of water. I'll literally be 1 second.
Yeah. Cool. 2 successes and 1 is a 6. Woo-woo.
The problem is, I did read all of Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, but I've
Yeah,
seen.
but I was 15. I don't remember any of
That's
them.
the thing. It's like, but in more recent years, I've watched Cumberpatch, and they have just kind of ruined any memory of what
Yeah, I don't
actually
even-
happened.
I don't even remember any of the the movies either. The stuff just flew out of my head. So I'm like, okay, let's look up.
Hello. How'd you go?
Hello. I got a 4 and a 6. That's pretty good.
That's good. That's good. And did you include the additional dice for the flashback that you were
No,
obviously
I didn't.
experiencing?
Oh, I should add an extra one in then.
Yeah, just make roll an additional die.
Roll. Oh, that was a 1.
Okay, well then.
So 4 and a 6.
Yep, 4 and a 6. Perfect. Okay, so you No, the basic outline of the story. Now, the question you've got for yourself is do you want to skip to the end? Because you kind of know where the villain's going to be, if that makes sense. Right?
You know who the villain is.
But if we... So what was... I'm trying to remember, what was the last thing that the creative director said to us before he went out the door and all that shit went down with the guys with the weird long fingers? The Nazi guys with the long fingers.
Oh, I don't think they're very happy.
No.
Okay. I think that's what he did say.
Didn't he say, I'll see you on the other side?
Yes, and then he teleported. Yeah.
And we don't know where he teleported to.
You do not.
But we thought he went out west. Why did we think he went out west?
Because when we went outside and said, hey, have you seen this guy? Someone said, he went that way.
Right. That's right. Okay. So, do we want to skip to the end, or do we want to explore London a little bit and wonder if we're going to run into him in a scene somewhere here?
May as well explore London while we're here.
Yeah, I think so. It's my feeling as well.
Okay.
Alright, hold on. I just need to go and take the puppy out the toilet.
No, that's okay. So, what are you guys doing? Sorry. So, are you going to skip to the end, or are you going to?
No, we're not
China.
skipping.
Okay. All right. Well, then the first thing you need to do is go to the scene of the original crime, the death of Enoch Dreber.
Okay.
Who is found on Brixton Road, London. And with like a 6 and a 4, I think you can have that. So, there is a... So what do you want to do with... Like, so Basil said nothing, really. Nigel seems to do all the talking. And Conan, and Arthur Conan Doyle is just... sort of quietly sitting there, muttering now something to himself.
Maybe we should take Arthur with us. On the off chance that there are fairies involved.
or table knockers. Okay, so you're gonna...
To Harry Houdini.
Yeah. So you're going to grab Arthur. He comes to you quite willingly, but doesn't seem to be saying very much. He just seems to be sort of muttering something again and again and again, but very quietly.
What does he seem to mutter?
Okay, so he keeps on saying it was meant to have ended at the falls.
Yeah. Yes. So difficult when you get sick of your character, kill them off, but the public wants them back and you need your money.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so you grab him, you go downstairs, you can easily summon a cab. It's not a problem.
Okay.
It was meant to have ended at the falls. And the further you drive away, the louder he gets. And then when you're kind of approaching Brixton Road, he sort of snaps awake for a second. It's like he's waking up. He stops muttering these words, looks at you, and goes, "What are you doing here?"
We are helping to solve the case of a study in Scarlet while also searching for our creative director slash boss.
But what are you doing here?
Investigating a murder.
Wish we knew exactly what we were doing.
Investigating a murder? Which
Yeah.
murder?
That of Enoch
Dreeba. Dreeba.
Dreeba.
Drebber. Dreeba. Okay. Well, that's not for you to solve. I didn't make it for you to solve. I made it for Sherlock to solve.
Yes, you did, but Sherlock is a bit indisposed at the moment.
Well, how are you going to solve it then? You don't have Sherlock's abilities.
Neither does Sherlock.
Ah, but we have you.
And
And you wrote the story, so you know all the points.
yes, but the point isn't for me to solve it. The point is for me to tell you, to write about you, to tell the story. The whole
Well,
point of this is to prove that it's the human mind that makes it all work. Anyway, look, you are not allowed to be here. How are you here? The others will want to know how you got here.
Who are the others?
Well, the others, obviously.
Nope,
Ellis.
it's not obvious.
Ellis will want to know. Yes, Ellis. Dear friend. Recent arrival. Lovely person, though.
Metal hand?
Sorry?
Does he have a metal hand?
No. What is this with the metal hand?
Well,
I'm doing
we are
some,
looking
you know,
for someone we know who's got a metal
Robert
hand.
Louis Stevenson story here, you know. I mean, sorry?
We are looking for someone that we know who appears to have a metal hand.
And what... Okay, so you're looking for someone who appears to have a metal hand.
Yes.
Okay, and do you know what story they come from? Do you know what author?
They
Creator.
don't come from
Master?
any author or any creator or any master. They're from outside all of that.
They are the architect of all of this. They are the reason you are here. The
This-
reason we are here.
I'm not here because of some creative director. I'm here because this is mine. Look,
Well,
it sounds like the sort of thing Dashel would have been involved in. He's always been into props. He might be able to help you.
Well, that would be good. If you think he could help us, we would be happy to talk to him.
Well,
How?
well, I can't take you there.
Hmm.
We each have our own places.
Right. Well, the person we're looking for, the creative director, he can go anywhere, we think.
No one
He
can.
could.
go-
Oh, he can go anywhere because he designed all of that. It's all his idea. He can go wherever he likes. So we are just wondering if he's gonna be somewhere in one of the scenes. So we thought we would just like play through or go through your story,
Okay.
move through your story to see if we can find him.
So this director of yours, they can move between the places,
Yes.
between the cities.
Yes.
Yes.
How?
He designed it. He can do what he likes.
He didn't design it. You keep on saying that.
Magic. He made magic and brought all these places together in
He's
one.
a talentless hack. He copied it all off you.
I'm not a talentless hack. I'm not a talentless hack. Voice echoes through the room. No, you don't understand. I made this place. Dashel made his place. Raymond made his place. Elias made their place, which is very weird. It's all castle-y monasteries and other bizarrenesses. Like, we made the places. We were here. Your creative director was not here, were they? Are they your age? Like, are they young? Are they new?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
About our age.
He gathered the places together.
Right. But I already knew
And he
Raymond.
has-
I knew of Raymond. I haven't... Like, we can't meet. Because there's the split, right? You can't just cross.
Yeah.
We just came
See-
from Morocco.
What I was going to say, we crossed from one place to another. We crossed from Casablanca to here in a
But-
matter of minutes.
They're the Guardians mean you can't.
We know how to get around the Guardian.
So I could just go to this other place.
Perhaps.
See,
Tends to be one way.
I think
though.
it's one way, yeah, because when we got
It's built
here
that way.
on a ship, we got off the ship, and when we turned around, the ship was gone.
But there's nothing to stop me going there now.
No, the way has been opened.
So I could finally make it right.
Mate, what right?
Well, Casablanca. I mean, there's no mystery there.
There's just human nature.
Well, but there's no. That's my point. There's no mystery. There's no case. There's no crime. There's just a bunch of people drinking alcohol and talking to each other. And a very dodgy Frenchman, he says.
There
Yes,
is
weird.
no longer a very dodgy Frenchman, but
But I could go there and make it correct.
you could only improve it at this point.
So you're saying I can go via the gate and go to this other place, this Casablanca.
Maybe?
Maybe.
And do they have characters that aren't Basil, like Sherlock and Watson?
There's a lot of Germans there.
Can't say I've
I don't
ever
know how you feel
really...
about Germans, but
Look, I think they're fine. Very good
these ones are.
Germanic
These are
stock.
bad Germans. These are very bad Germans.
Oh, okay.
Bit more of a nightmarish incantation of
Right, well, but, okay, and then...
Lovecraftian, perhaps.
I don't know that name.
You do know Harry Houdini though. He knows Lovecraft.
I do. I know Harry. I mean, but he's not here. He's not here. There is no Harry here. I knew Harry. But when we came here, Harry was not here. He's not a builder. He's not a maker.
No, but he is.
Well, so okay. Well, then I think I might just leave you and go and see if I can go to this other place.
Before you go, because you'll never get a chance again, maybe you should kill Sherlock Holmes once and for all.
That's a really good idea. I could kill him for good.
Be rid of him forever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just there.
But what happens to Basil if he kills off Sherlock?
Sorry, who?
Well, Basil and Nigel? You know,
Watson
the guys who
and Sherlock.
play Watson and Sherlock? They're not actually Watson and Sherlock. They're actors.
Well, that doesn't matter. They're just holding the parts.
They're already dead, aren't they?
I guess so.
Well, if I go and kill them now, then the parts are empty, and I can go to this other place and bring back new people to play the part. I can bring new people in.
Maybe we'll just skip the killing part. I'm starting to feel uncomfortable about this.
Well, but your friend suggested it. It's a great idea. I can finally kill Sherlock Holmes. Actually, why don't you kill Sherlock Holmes?
No, I don't want to do that. No.
Why not? I mean, to your point, but
an actor, not the character.
Well, but they're filling the place, aren't they? I mean, and we all know how it goes. He falls off the falls. He dies. I wrote it. Then they made me bring him back. No. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's to your point. He's already dead.
I don't know what's going on here. You can't understand it.
Well, I'll make it easy for you. He's already dead. And the math of the equation is very simple. You can make me very happy by killing him, and I would owe you a favour. And I'm the creator of this space.
But only of this space.
Well, yes, but this is my space. I did all of the numbers, you know.
Do the numbers for anyone in particular, or just yourself?
Well, no, I did the numbers just for myself. I do numbers for other people sometimes, but they don't ask.
Do you happen to know where the next Guardian is?
Oh, of course I do. Yes, I mean, you get to the end of this case, and there's a train that you can catch.
A train.
Well, it is London. You've got to catch the underground.
Yeah. Yep.
But what happens to this case if there is no Sherlock Holmes to solve it?
I guess it just stays unsolved. But that doesn't really matter. I mean, I created it. It doesn't actually matter.
But you're upset that it was not Sherlock investigating and it was us investigating.
Well, yeah.
Are you sure it doesn't matter?
Look, it matters a little bit, but you don't need to worry about it. I mean, you'll be gone, you'll be on the train, you'll be on your way to the next city, and I will be going to Casablanca.
To do more damage in someone else's creation than what we've already done. Oh boy.
Well, don't think of it as damage, think of it as renovation.
Okay.
Can only improve the game.
I don't know what can save this game now. This is just. It's all about. Oh my gosh.
Think
And we
of the
haven't-
crossover potential.
And we
What am I
haven't-
saying?
We haven't even run into Kevin Spacey yet.
So true, yet so far. Too soon. No. I guess. Well, look, I tell you, look, you're obviously struggling, but I think we can all agree that Watson and Sherlock won't adapt to the new world.
Oh, no, I don't agree. I don't agree at all.
Perhaps you should take Watson and Sherlock with you to Casablanca instead.
Oh.
And let them just be Nigel and Basil. Then they could just, just be free to be Nigel and Basil.
I don't. Sorry, you keep on referring to them as Nigel and Basil. I don't quite understand why you keep on doing that.
Because that's their name.
They are who they want to be. They don't want to be Sherlock and Watson anymore. They want to be Nigel and Basil.
But we need them to be Sherlock and Watson. It's the part they came here to play.
But, as you said yourself, you don't want Sherlock Holmes anymore. You'd rather he disappeared, so instead of killing him, why don't you let him choose a new identity? Become Basil in a new place.
Well, I guess something could be done to that effect. Why don't you go back and tell them that? I'm going to make arrangements.
Arrangements?
Well, I have to travel. I can't just leave. Things going on.
Yes. Why does he sound so sinister suddenly?
Always has been.
This is just next level sinister.
Would any of you like to make a charisma roll?
Yeah, I would. I've got 3 charisma.
Okay.
Oops. There, that. Try this. No. That would
No.
be a well no.
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 No. Well, I don't know what you're referring to. All I'm suggesting is once we've done the numbers, it's pretty self-evident what the answer is. But irrespective, I'm willing to compromise and not just kill them, although that would be sensible. If you want to go back and talk them into giving up their roles, Sherlock Holmes retires front page news of the Times, along with Dr. Watson surrendering his desperate efforts to record the mutterings of a madman, then that's fine.
I think we can achieve that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. And well, I don't know, what do you want? I'm quite unclear as to what I'm giving you in return for this service.
Well, you are not killing people who just want to be free to be Basil and Nigel.
Right.
And you're also pointing us in the direction of the next Guardian.
Guardian.
Oh, that's right. You wanted to know. Well, I told you, it's just a train station. Just look up the tube.
Which
one?
Station.
The station. You just go to the station.
London is full of stations.
Is it?
It is.
There's only one station.
Then where do the trains go?
Well, they just leave. No one takes the train. The Guardian stops you, so there's just the station.
So if we were to ask this cab to just take us now to the station, he would know where we were going.
Yes.
Right.
Good. So Arthur reaches over the seat, taps the shoulder of the cab driver, who is somewhat... So when you look at the cab driver, because you haven't looked at the cab driver, right? Arthur's been keeping your attention the whole time. When you see the cab driver, they're somewhat elderly and female.
Is it anybody I recognise as an actor?
No, it's not anyone you recognise. Raffi, they look very familiar to you.
Morning, Lola.
Morning, Raffi.
How are you doing today?
I'm very good. Where do you want to go? Where aren't you going?
Can we go to the station, please?
I don't know. Will it make you happy? You seem unsure. Never know what you're going to do you? Always drifting around. Always. You people, you never know where you want to go. You say station 1 minute, and then the next minute you don't want to go to the station. 1 minute you want freedom from the kingdom. Next minute you don't want to kill the person who's going to get you free. Like you don't know what you want. Just flip-flop all the time. Flip-flop. Flip-flop. All the time. Never making a decision.
We'd like to go to the station, please, Lola.
Are you sure?
Yes, we're sure.
You're not going to change your mind?
No,
We'll get 95%.
Change our mind, are we?
We will get very close to the station, and then you will change your mind. I
We
will.
need to go back to Baker Street first.
Exactly what I'm talking about. See, already it begins.
Well, no.
Raffi, you were such a smart boy, and now look at you've got friends, and they confuse it.
We better go back to Baker Street
Baker
and then
Street.
go to the station.
Oh, okay. And now we're going to Baker Street. You sure you don't want to go to where the person died first? Brixton Road, they said. I'm driving to Brixton Road. Now we're going back to the place we started. Before we go to the station... Oh, we're definitely going to the station. You people just drive me around in circles. All the time. Circles.
Oh.
Never ask exit. Just circles.
Maybe.
Where would you like to go, Lola?
Well, it's not where I want to go. It's where do you want to go?
Maybe
What would make you happy?
If you changed... He seems like a nice boy. He points at Conan Doyle. He's a very nice boy. Very smart. He's done a lot of thinking. Very powerful. I know lots of people who would like to be friends with Arthur. Or one of these other friends. Look at them. Very nice people. But not nice enough for perfume. Alright, so what are we doing? Are we going to the station?
Friends of yours, Arthur.
Arthur's like completely confused by this moment. He's like, what the hell? What happened to Moran? The driver. Yeah, the driver.
Well, we've got a new driver that's Lola. Okay.
Why is Lola the driver? Who is Lola?
Lola's my grandmother.
What? Your grandmother isn't here. She can't be here.
Don't tell her she can't do anything. Please don't tell her she can't do anything.
I'll tell you, my son, what I can do. She goes off in the back, in the front seat. Oh, I think... Now, Rafi, you be careful of this boy. He had a very mean man in the front seat. Your friend, he fixed him, though.
Our friend.
Yes, your friend. He came, he found me. He said, you come with me. I was like, okay, I come. Rafi's in trouble. I come to Rafi.
Did he have a metal hand?
Well, yes, it's a very weird, creepy hand.
And where did you take him after he came to see you?
Oh, he said I should just be in front seat so that I can talk to Rafi, explain what needs to be done. Because Rafi doesn't know what he's doing. Always changing his mind. Never landing on an answer. Anyway, he was here, and there was another man who was driving. But
The man with the metal hand, did he say anything to you?
yeah, he said that I should drive you where you want to go. And then I said to him, well, he won't want to know. He won't know where he wants to go. And then we had a discussion. And then the other man came and he said I shouldn't be sitting in driver's seat. And then man with metal hand said, yes, I should be sitting in driver's seat. And then, she does this whole, like, expression of sort of, and then the man who was driving in driver's seat was not here anymore.
Ah.
He said you're stuffing it up, though. Stuffing up the game.
Destructive testing.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but he said you're stuffing up the game. Now, while all this is going on, Arthur is clearly getting more and more frustrated with the conversation that's going on around him. You can see him getting redder and redder in the face. Quite ruddy looking face.
Gonna blow.
Okay, so we needed to do something at Baker Street. We needed to get the actors to agree to go to
Casablanca.
Okay. And then we can go to the station?
Okay. I'm just driving. Well, not even really driving. I don't know what the station is, but the car knows where the station is, so I just... can't see it, then the car drives. At least it knows where it's going. It's very good at it. Very clear. By about this point, Arthur is quietly, like, exploding in the corner. Now, you can... Alright, so... He looks at you all for a second and goes, so, this friend of yours, the man with the steel hand that you asked Nigel about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did this.
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
The
He's-
eternal question.
And why did... And what happened to the driver?
He
Dead.
got edited out.
How
Dead.
dangerous is your friend?
Very,
Very.
very, very.
So, the previous driver, you're saying, was deleted
Yes.
by your friend.
And replaced
Not
with my
really a
grandmother.
friend, but yes, someone we know.
Someone we'd like to catch up with and perhaps evict along with us from this world.
I want you to find him.
Yes, we want to find him too.
Well, in that case, you might need some help.
Yeah, we do.
Please.
I know someone who might be willing to help you for a price.
Okay, who is
Go
it?
on.
Well, it's not so much as a who as a whom, but well, so you can imagine that in these places, these cities, there are investigators, detectives, monks with weird predilections to solving crime, and other such beings. And then there are... Well, they're opposites.
The people committing the crimes?
Well, yes, but I mean,
Yes,
not just committing crimes, like criminal masterminds.
Are you suggesting we perhaps talk to Mr. Moriarty?
Oh, I don't. No. He would not be of significant assistance in this case, from what I understand of your friend.
Then who
pretty- I'd like
perhaps
to
are
meet
you
him.
suggesting?
I liked him in Star Trek.
He's coming back for Picard, apparently.
Hmm.
He's going to be in the last season of Picard. At some point, he has the same actor has actually been
Okay.
is being brought back. I don't know how, I don't know when, but there were shots of him for the latest season of Picard. No, so it seems you will need someone with a... Well, the sort of person who might manipulate and use technology.
That could be an advantage, yes.
You'll need to go to New Hong Kong.
Uh-huh.
New Hong Kong.
New Hong Kong. There's a group there led by someone. they call themselves the Crimson Claw. This all seems very dramatic, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
What's New Hong Kong like?
I don't know. I've never been.
Of course, because you can't go across the split.
Correct. But I know it exists. And I know they use, rumours have it, people with mechanical parts
Mm-hmm.
as their enforcers.
I really, really hope this isn't a Neil Stevenson thing, because it will end really badly and have a weird sex thing.
So true, so true. Well, you need to make your way to New Hong Kong,
Okay.
which means you need to go to the station. You
Yeah.
hear an exasperated scream from the front seat of the car at that point. Now, I mean, the quickest way there, not to dig up old bones, would be to remove the anchor tenant from this location.
Yep.
Both of them.
Still don't think it's a good idea to kill them. Happy to convince them to go to Casablanca.
Well,
Yeah.
Lovely weather this time of the year, perfect for tweed and deer stalkers.
It's that dry desert sun that really makes the deerstalker work. Well, look, I tell you what. Look, I can tell you're quite uncomfortable. And look, I mean, obviously, as Arthur, I could literally just snap my fingers and they would cease to exist. I mean, that's the point of being the creator. But it's not how we do things around here. If you could just... I mean, you don't have to kill them yourselves. You could just put them in a position where things could happen.
Well, if they were to emigrate to Casablanca, then they wouldn't be in.
Yes.
Wouldn't
Oh,
really
actually, hold on.
would they?
You could just... Yeah. What if they arrived at the port? Accidents happen at ports all the time.
People get hurled into the side of ships.
Do they? Well, I'll take your word for it. I hadn't thought of that one, but yes, I guess so. You just need to bring them to the port and I'll take care of the rest.
So let's go back to Baker Street. We'll drop you off, Arthur, to make arrangements, and we'll pick up Nigel and Basil and take them to the port.
No, we won't.
It's like, no, Nigel and Basil are kind of coming with us too.
Yeah, they're coming with us from New Hong Kong.
That would work.
Oh, so now you want to go to New Hong Kong? That's a voice from the front seat of the car.
But that would work though. That way we don't have to do that whole puzzle thing where you've got like a Sherlock Holmes, a Dr. Watson, and an Arthur Conan Doyle, and a boat, and you keep the wrong.
This is the
children
fox
on
and the
one side.
chicken. This is the fox
and the chicken thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Okay, so you get your grandmother to turn the vehicle around. Now, what are you going to do when we get there? Have you got a plan?
Yes, we
Yes.
have a plan.
Is it a good plan?
Yes.
It's a plan.
You better have a plan. That's all I'm saying. You always go without a
It's a
plan.
robust plan.
It's a robust plan. It's been stress tested. All right. So you arrive at 21B Baker Street, and you leave the cab with Arthur Conan Doyle and sorry, what was the name? What was the name of your grandmother?
Lola.
Lola. In the driver's seat, and she actually drives off with Moriarty in the front seat.
Moriarty.
Sorry?
In the front seat.
Moriarty.
Come on, surely you'd worked it out by now. Anyway, alright. Alright, so as she drives off, you realise that all those references to mathematics and numbers were not reminiscent of Arthur Conan Doyle.
But to Moriarty and his of course.
And who was Moriarty's right-hand man? Colonel Moran.
Moran.
Alright, but this all comes to you, Aggie, as they drive off. Because you've read The Study in Scarlet. You've read Arthur Conan Doyle stories. You're ashamed to admit it, but it's true. And you have a sinking suspicion that the getting out of London may not be quite as easy as just zipping down to the station and jumping on a train.
Train now.
And that is where we will stop it at 10:23 p.m. Sydney Standard, Canberra Standard Time. Okay. Well, look, I gave you slapstick. I gave you comedy.
You gave us Lola, which is just brilliant.
You did disappointed, frustrated grandmother so well.
Thank you. It's a skill. It's a skill. 4 children. 4 children. That's all I'm saying. I've had a fair amount of practice. People. It's the 4th child is really what tops it out for you. It's like, when are you gonna make a decision about what you're doing with your life? A 21-year-old child when I didn't make that decision until I was like 31. But look, let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. I have expectations. Do better. Do better. All right, I'll stop recording.